Oh, what's up, my boy Laughers? I'm looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy, and of course, I'm joined with the lovely Ebony Moonbeam. How you doing today, Ash?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ebony Moonbeam. You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam on all social media platforms. I'm a cosplayer. I'm a big ass nerd and 1/3 co-host of the female blurred-led podcast, Waifu Views, that gives you everything fandom with a side of waifu. And I'm here today with my friend Zell May Bars to talk about Agatha All Along.
Yes, we were talking about Agatha all along in a show that, like I said, how do you, Ash, Ebony,
What's up? What's up?
how do you feel about the first two episodes?
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you how I went in because I was really interested about it. We talked about it on a previous show, and I was like, oh, it looks good. I've been waiting for it. I'm excited. And then we got more news around D23, and I was like, it's going to be really good. I feel it in my bones. So I watched the first episode, and honestly, it still reminds me of WandaVision. I think it's one of those shows that I would say has a slower buildup, and that's because you're trying to reintroduce people into the universe that we haven't seen in a couple of years that we got from WandaVision, and picking up from a different character that we only know a little bit about if you're just a watcher instead of a reader of the comics. So the first two episodes for me were good. I was interested. I was entertained. There's a bit of campiness in it, but I like that. And I think that it's very reminiscent of what we got from WandaVision, where if you don't like camp, you'll think it's cringy. But that's why camp is a thing. And yeah, I want to know more. So I'm definitely going to stay tuned into it.
I think it's a really solid show. Wasn't nothing special. First two episodes wasn't nothing special. It gave a lot of hints of things that I'm very much interested in, and I will go through my theories after we talk about each episode because I think there are some amazing theories with certain characters that they will have, and they gave hints, and I want to talk about little subtle hints because if two of these characters are who I think they are, and one leading to another character who I think it will, which will lead
Mm-hmm.
to a show that me and Ebony actually said we are very excited for. I am very excited for Ironheart. So if that don't give away what something happens, I don't know what will. But it leads me to be excited, but like it wasn't nothing special. But Catherine Hahn is Catherine Hahn. Aubrey Plaza is Aubrey Plaza. Deborah Jo Rupp is Mrs. Hart is Deborah Jo Rupp. Still in my mind, she's that 70 show mom. No matter what I see.
Which honestly, it was funny because I recognized the voice, but then her face was a little bit tighter. You could tell she's had
Yeah.
a little touch up, which I
Yeah.
ain't mad about. And I was like, yo, I love her. I think that the cast is really good. A lot of funny people that you've seen in other things. Yeah, I was really happy to see her.
Yeah, she left over from one division. I like how people in the episodes were like, "We don't speak on her name." Like she's still the
Right.
villain. She's still the villain as she should be. She should still be the villain. She is 100%.
She definitely trapped a whole town of people and gave them like completely different personalities and all types of shit. It was just fucking with them all for her purposes. So yes, she is very much still the villain.
And I
I
like how
know
they didn't
Thanos
pretend
killed
that
her
she was.
man, but hmm,
Yeah. I like how they didn't pretend she wasn't. I loved it. I loved it. Like, yo, we don't
I
speak
did
her
too.
name.
Right. Wanda has turned into Voldemort.
The one that shall not be named.
She who shall not be named.
We don't say
No,
her
but I'm
name.
here for it.
Yeah,
I'm
so
here for it. I'm interested to see if we'll get like a Wanda cameo, even if it's just like in a flashback or something.
yeah, I am. I'm curious, even though they did have her name in the first episode, which we're about to talk about. But the first episode was basically Agatha or Agnes becoming a detective in her own little weird world that Wanda put her in, and I like the way that everybody in town just went with it. Whatever happened, They just went with it. They're like, hey, listen, we're here with it. Whatever you do, we're just gonna play with you and go with it for 3 years. You just lady been here. She's been different people apparently, and now she's in her. As the guy said, for the last 3 days, she has now been in her detective bag, which she hasn't been
Her true crime bag.
her crime bag. And then we
A
did see the
detective in
other
a true
characters she
crime.
apparently was when she was transforming at the end. So apparently she was multiple characters throughout this thing. So yeah, listen. And I like the fact that I was wondering because it didn't make sense to me how Wanda got there. They said that's her dead body. I'm like, ain't she in here? But then they explained this is just in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got introduced to a bunch of the former cast of One Division, how they are different people now. They're a jeweler, they're a detective. None of these people are any of these people, by the way.
None of them.
They are none of these people. They just went with it. Like, oh, you telling me? She's just walking
With the
around.
librarian, like, all
Yeah.
right.
You have the book. They burnt all of them. And she's like, they all of them in the fire. And he runs off. That dude is nobody. He's just a dude who played around.
And then she's so funny because she has this like really hard. I think it's supposed to be similar to like either a Canadian or like a new. Is it? No, it's like a New England accent. I think it is
Yeah.
that
They near
she's
Connecticut,
doing.
I think.
Yeah, it's something over there, and it's so funny because just how she's acting and carrying herself. It's just what you expect from almost like an overly act TV drama. It was almost like when you watch those reenactments of stories, and then like there's a narrator, but then there's a portion where people are like reenacting it, and like I felt like it was like that. It was very funny to watch her in that way. It was. I like the juxtaposition of the first episode as a whole because I think that a show like this, which is probably why I liked WandaVision, was it shows these actors actual acting chops, being able to switch into these different characters and personas for like the different parts. And I was glad that they broke down and showed like when Agatha is trying to, come along, like we see all these different versions of her because we really didn't focus on Agatha basically at all in WandaVision until maybe like with the last 4 episodes, maybe if that. And we didn't even fully focus on her until probably like the last two.
Yeah, the last two when we found out she was a witch coven. And we got
Right.
kind of a flashback to what happened, but this episode 2 is gonna lead more to the things. But episode 1 was mostly how to get her out. And then we meet what they calling her now? I got because in my head I'm calling her the character I think she is. Rio Vidal, which is her
Rio
character
Vidal.
as which is not her real name. By the way, it's the name of the detective that she's pretending to be. And she's like, Agnes, is this who you really are? And then we also meet Twin, who breaks her out of the Scarlet Witch's curse, which makes him a very interesting character and how he knows lore of a person who no one else knows lore of. Like, oh, I'm big. And we find out at the end, but we'll get to that in a minute. But somehow he says spells that tricks Agatha and kind of breaks her out of the spell. Her and Rio Vidal, him and Rio Vidal. His name is Teen right now. We know him as Teen because apparently, as we're gonna talk about when we get to episode 2, we can't hear his name, which leads to my theory, by the way, which I'm gonna give y'all in when we get to
Mm-hmm.
episode 2. But
And he's a teenager, which is why she calls him Teen.
yeah, so we get that, and I'm so intrigued by these two characters because these two lead to my thing, which makes me enjoy the show twice as much because I get to fan theorize. I feel like old boy from
Mm-hmm.
New Rock Stars, Eric Voss, because I get to finally say he's here finally. If y'all fans of New Rock Stars, y'all know who Eric Voss wants all the time. So it's a hint at what I'm gonna say in a second. But how do you feel about these two character introduction and ultimately Agatha breaking out of her curse?
Let me start with Teen. I He is a lighter comic relief, and he is supposed to be kind of like the stereotype of a millennial. Some of the things that he says and does that you can find anything on the internet and like, oh, slay and stuff like that. So he's really funny because I could see like if you're dealing with a woman that's like centuries old, a centuries old witch, and then you're someone that's trying to be like a part of this coven in your new age, like that's how their dynamic would be. So I thought that it felt really natural. And I still, when it came to him reciting the spells, what I kind of hope that we learn going forward, like later on, once what we figure out who this character really is that we'll figure out how he was able to a come across this place. Because if I recall, back in the day, like I said back in the day, in WandaVision, you couldn't easily come in and out of the town. So the fact that he was able to find Agatha as Agnes and then try and break her out and stuff, I feel like there's definitely something really deep there. So I hope that we get to learn that. And then his fingers starting to look like how Agatha's and Wanda's do when they touch the dark hold, I thought was a nice touch. It was almost like EMS. No, is it called EMR? EMSR? It's like a therapy treatment where you almost kind of like go into hypnosis in a way, but you recall like your past traumas. It was kind of almost like he did like a version of that and brought her out. So I thought that was good. Um, when it comes to Agatha, I I just love every version of her. I think she's a great actress in general, but I think this character really gets to showcase how unique of a person she is. Especially in this particular character, you get to see her being one way and then another way. Like when she's shifting, it was so funny. Like she's like, "Is it hot in here? Is it hot?" And then she starts like taking her clothes. I love that aspect. But then afterwards, when she's back to remembering who she is, she's kind of she has all these little quips and she's kind of an asshole, but she's hilarious. And I really enjoy what we're getting so far just from that episode coming back into the real world. I was like, oh shit, what is she gonna do? So I it was solid for me. I really have no complaints. There's not much that I would have asked for in the first season first episode that I didn't get.
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza encouraging her the whole time. And
Also,
then
she can, you
Ar-
know.
Aubrey got very sensual in this episode.
Okay, so I legit was like, I feel because I watched this with a group of people, and I was like, yo, I feel the lesbo vibes, and I'm here for it. Like, if they don't kiss at one point during the season, I would be shocked. Actually, I feel like they were leaning into that. But Aubrey's hot, so play up the fan service, Disney.
She did say this is the gayest episode, the gayest show they ever did. So, which by the way, I do find interesting because they usually don't play into that. Disney doesn't. I know people like to pretend they do. They do not. People
No,
pretend
Disney
they.
really does not play that
Yeah,
a
I
lot
know
of
people. I
times.
know people claim they do, but y'all be mad over little things they do. Like I remember, Doctor Strange. People got mad like, "Oh, look how much they shoving in our face." I'm like, bro, she just had a pendant. That's it. Her mom was there for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I don't know where you got all of this from, but yeah, I don't know how y'all
it,
got that from
it's
there, but
it's just like it's not even necessarily selective outrage. It's just this is the thing that I always say that I hate about the internet. It's like one person says something that fuels and spirals, and then everybody just starts regurgitating it. And it's like, oh, we're pushing a female, and this and that, and you're throwing the feminism in our face and all of this stuff. It's like these are real characters with real backgrounds and storylines that have been around way before the MCU was ever a thing. And they're focusing on other members that are really poignant in the Marvel universe. Agatha Harkness is an extremely powerful witch, and she has a major connection to the Scarlet Witch, which nobody cared about when it was all about the Scarlet Witch. But now you're getting a show that's connected to Scarlet Witch and WandaVision, and it's like, oh, here we go again. It's like the She-Hulk thing. Like She-Hulk is a character. I'm sorry. What do
Listen,
you guys want?
I do want to tell you the truth. Listen, Disney. She Hulk is the most comic accurate show of all of them, but they picked the worst comic. I'm sorry they did. They picked the worst comic. Literally,
They did though.
the ending of She Hulk is literally based on them doing the comic book of them apologizing for how bad She Hulk was at the time and then redoing it. And I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that comic one accurate. It's weird.
No.
So that She Hulk ended up. Listen, I didn't mind the Megan Thee Stallion thing. It just got bad then because they told me that everything I watched didn't matter and they just reset it. And I was like,
And
oh,
see, I don't like that. Stand on business. We've seen that in different movies and stuff like that where it'll get like test screened or it'll get leaked or something along the lines, or even stuff with, we see it in manga where they get so much backlash from the fans that they change something up or they try and re-correct it, like Blue Exorcist for instance got that treatment and then they redid it and it was basically like, that was a waste of my time. Like you can always just finish it the way it was supposed to do and try and correct it in another season. But just saying, this was a joke. All these episodes that we spent time, effort, and money in, it doesn't matter. It's not a thing. And hope you take that and be cool with it. I think it's a slap in the face to the fans.
it makes it hard. Like, I just watch that for no reason? But I digress. This is about Agatha Harkness, in which
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that since Rio, apparently we're gonna call her Rio because that's who we think it is. I can go into my since she's not really in the second episode much. I do want to go over it. I think she's Morgan Le Fay. If you come with Morgan Le Fay is probably the second most powerful witch behind the Scarlet Witch in terms of magic. So if she is Morgan Le Fay and she has a long-standing beef with Agatha for 1,000 years, it makes sense. And she can do some cool ass, by the way.
You know
And the
what?
reason,
Honestly, visually, she does look like Morgan Le Fay.
and she has the green, which is the only witch I
Mm-hmm.
can think of Marvel. The only person I can think of Marvel that's witchcraft wise that has green is Morgan Le Fay. I don't get something like she has to be Morgan Le Fay.
And Morgan and Agatha have beef.
Yeah.
So it actually does make sense.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
So
Because
that's who I
she's an
think.
old witch like her who has arcs with the dark hold. And and since doesn't she also have like a connection to like Doctor Doom?
She does. She,
Yeah, so that would also make sense because we're gonna be getting
Doomsday.
um
Doomsday.
RDJ's Doctor Doom soon. So I can definitely see her being that character.
Morgan Le Fay is a. If y'all don't know who she is, she's in kind of the more obscure comic parts of it, but she does like help Doctor Doom at certain points. Agatha does too. Agatha probably most known for being like the babysitter of Franklin Richards, which he is supposed to come to. Apparently, he's born in that version, allegedly. I don't know. We don't know yet, but I am looking forward to her character. And and we find at the end of the episode after she convinces Aubrey Plaza to leave, she's like, "I'm calling the seven, and they're coming to get. They want to kill you more than me." And also, the reason I think she's Morgan Le Fay is they trying to hide her name. That means she's a big character. She's known as the
Yeah.
Black Heart. Apparently, she's the Black Heart. I'm guessing she's the Black Heart. Well,
Uh
she says I have a black heart. She says it, and then it's on the paper as Black Heart. So I'm
well
assuming.
when they did that, they were she said Agatha said that she was like it was a black heart because you wrote it in black pen. But they were talking about the Green Witch because the Green Witch had her last name is Hart. She goes by like Miss
Oh,
Hart or
okay.
whatever. Or that's supposed to be that was the name that Wanda gave her. That's why when she goes to get her from her little garden, she calls her that and then she corrects her. But my thing is, when it comes to Morgan Le Fay, we actually already have, she's already in the MCU in The Runaways. She's played by Elizabeth Hurley. So I'm curious to see if are they doing this and they're basically just recasting or if this is like a multiverse type thing and this is a different version of Morgan Le Fay, if it is Morgan Le Fay at all.
I'm interested in that too because she is in the Runaway. By the way, I love the Runaway. Runaway was a great show. A lot of the Marvel TV shows were really good, but then after a few seasons, they all just ran out of ideas. I believe. I'm not gonna lie. Like after the first, like after Agent of Shield, after a while, they just like, yo, I don't know no more. But with bring back
Right.
Daisy Quake, she was amazing.
Daisy was great. Agents of
Well,
Shield was so good for a long time, and then it was just there,
yeah, I think they kind of stopped putting effort into it.
which
But
was unfortunate. I thought it was really good.
yeah, but we get into episode 2, and apparently they have to go. Teen tells her they need to go to the road. They have to follow the witch's road. So they need a coven to go on the witch's road. They have to little talk along in which, as I stated earlier, Agatha asked him what's his name. He doesn't. He tries to say his name. And the second theory I have is a M cover his mouth. A M covers his mouth. A
Oh,
cursive
it
M.
scribbled like a.
Cursive
Yeah,
M.
you're right.
A cursive M covers Teen's mouth. If anybody know what a cursive M in Marvel is, that is Mephisto.
Yep.
And Mephisto is confirmed to be a main villain in what I said earlier, Ironheart.
hmm
So this might be the introduction of Mephisto, which puts in a major Marvel character in the diatribe of Marvel. So I'm looking forward to that because it shows an M. And if, by the way, I'm gonna get into my theory when we get to it. I might well do it now. I think Teen is Wanda's son. If we going by the comic books, Mephisto helps Wanda have children when she couldn't. And he had 2. Billy, which I think Joe Lock Teen is Billy, and it's under a deal with Mephisto. So if Billy's alive, Wanda's missing or dead, Mephisto can make her children alive. In which why he can't tell people who have seen Billy the name, which why M would pass on his mouth. Because she
That's a
would know
really good
Billy.
theory.
Yeah, Agatha knows who Billy is. She's seen a Billy because Wanda made up a Billy.
hmm
And Billy exists in another universe. We've seen that too. so,
Right.
and so if he can't ain't allowed to tell people where he's from, and an M covers his mouth, and that eerie song plays every time he does it, which I like by the way, gives it the eerie feel. That hints that we probably see Mephisto, and he got a plan for Agatha. Because
Well,
how would Teen
so you
find
think
her?
that
Because Teen should
you
not be able to break Wanda's spell. Wanda is literally put her in a spell made by the Darkhold. Aubrey
what
Plaza couldn't
about
break that.
but what if but still what if she is Mephisto's daughter?
Who Aubrey Plaza?
Yeah, and maybe she has a connection to Teen. Like maybe because it doesn't seem because see, Teen just acts naturally and stuff when like it's clear that he's not aware that he is unable to speak like his
Yeah.
name. And there's a scene, where they're talking about like where he's from and
Mm.
she can't hear him and all that stuff like that. So maybe he's under a spell that she put on him, or maybe Mephisto did put the spell on him, but I'm just saying I don't know if he's fully aware.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But why would like the question was, as you stated, why would he know to take her to the richest road? Because she wasn't thinking about that. He the one who suggested this idea. He the one who had all the information on the other witches. He just
Well, I
happened
do,
to
but
know all. He's like, hey, you having financial trouble, right? When did you? Maybe.
I still feel like your theory though that he is Billy could tie into that. Like
Yeah.
when everything happened and who he is, then he has a connection to magic and witchcraft and stuff like that. And so, like how sometimes characters don't know what they're looking for, but they have like something they're drawn to certain things for different reasons, and then as the story unfolds and you realize like this was the reason why they were drawn to it, like maybe he has all these things because he is indeed Wanda's son, and so that's why he is so interested in all this stuff or whatever and goes so deep into the understanding of it to where now he has, because the thing is when you really because I think he explains that he knows some of these things because he's truly researched them. So it's not that Agatha Harkness is not known. You know, it's just people believe that either A, she's dead, or it was fake because she existed all the way back to the Salem witch trials, even further than that. So uh, I I think it could go either way. Do you think that we would actually get an answer to that question in season one?
Yeah, I think the last episode. But I'm gonna give my theory on the last episode right now. Y'all could quote me if I'm wrong. I think his
Let's
wish.
see.
I think he's gonna end up going to the Yellow Road. He's gonna wish Wanda back to life. His mom back to life. I think she actually got crushed by the boat, and Agatha knew it. But I think he's gonna wish her back to life, which leads to when the last episode we heard just saying Billy, just as like the end on the shop.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. Actually, I think that's good because I don't think that they're gonna tell us. I don't think because he hasn't stated, and I'm interested. I'm surprised that Agatha didn't ask because she hasn't even asked. Like, well, what? Well, well, he says that he wants power, but he's not specific on what type of power he needs, why he needs power, what he's gonna do with said power. So it would be interesting, especially if he is aware that he is Wanda's son, or I don't know, because we're supposed to get more of Wanda in the MCU,
Supposed to have a
right?
solo movie. So,
Yeah. After Doctor Strange, and it's supposed to be based off of the events after that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the Scarlet Witch movie.
Mhm. I don't know. I don't know if they'll close it so easily, to be honest. If because if your theory is right and we get two major players like something involving Mephisto, Morgan Le Fay, and we still have Agatha, potentially Billy, Wanda's son. You know, I just don't see them giving all of that up in one season.
I don't know if they'll show
And then
Mephisto yet. I think it'll be him.
especially when they don't have something already ready. Like I could understand if they were already working on the Scarlet Witch movie to where then once it was done we would get Scarlet Witch again fairly quickly. So I don't know. I feel like Agatha All Along, depending on how the ratings go, maybe more than a season long. I could see it being two.
I could see a lot of that happening. Like I was thinking, like I said, depending on right now it's 80% by the critics and 81% by the fans, so it's well received right now. The first two episodes, um, and they let's get back into the episode because we kind of got off on theories, which I love. By the way, I love
Right.
theory, but they they have to make a covenant to get on the witches road. They have to have all the witches they need to survive because it's a death trap. And we have Lilia, played by Patty LaPone, again great actress, and she is the divinity witch. We also have Jennifer Kale, played by Sasha Zanata, and we have Alice Wu Gulliver, played by Alian, and as I already told y'all, Miss Hart by Deborah Jo Rupp are all the witches she brings up there. And they have to make this covenant, so they have to go through all these witches have their own problems. They have lost something, they have lost power, they're bound, they're chased by their divinity magic, as we found by the Salem witch trials with Julia as Lilia. She
Yeah,
was
because we
chased,
got the divination witch, we
the
got the
blood
green
witch.
witch, the blood witch, and
Which one is
The
Ollie? The
other one,
protector? Protector?
the
Protector?
protection
Yeah,
witch, right?
yeah, yeah. So we have them, and they got their click together. Shout out to the team because nobody was going for anything Agatha was saying. And throughout the episode, she is chased by these random animals. With the Scarlet Witch song just randomly playing. It just randomly plays shortly, and I'm like, why are you looking at a possum and a rat just in New York? And it plays like, oh yeah,
Yeah, that rat scene was kind of unsettling, and then you're just like, okay, why? Like, why is that bother? Because, honey, you're a witch. So,
a crow looking down at you like this. She looked at the
mm-hmm.
crow like, we gotta get out of here.
Yep, time to go.
Which it could be another thing for the seven, each animal for
Seven.
the seven, which I don't know. Which I'm trying to figure out what the seven is right now. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've read that. It might be more of an obscure comic, but I have not seen anything on it. But the seven is chasing her, so she has to get this covenant before they come because Morgan Le Fay told the seven that they're coming to get it. By the way, these witches are like weirdo witches. Shout out to Hubert. He, he was in the first episode as the detective who just went around with the detective thing. He's like, I'm not a police officer. Agatha was naked in front of him. He's like, hey, put some clothes on. You're kind of naked.
Okay,
She just
I can tell you what Salem 7 is. So the Seven was a fictional team of magical beings and former supervillains that appeared in Marvel Comics. They were initially foes of Scarlet Witch and the Fantastic Four, but became allies to both. All seven are the children of, I don't know if this is a spoiler if I say it.
well, if it's
Well,
in the
it's in the
comic book.
comics, so I'm gonna just say it. They're all children of Nicholas Scratch and the grandchildren of Agatha Harkness. They're humans with magic powers who can transform into fantastic creatures with superpowers.
Oh,
And
Nicholas
it
Scratch.
does say on the same page that the Salem 7 appear in Agatha All Along 2024.
Yeah,
So
they showed up at the lab, so it was really creepy. They did like a horror
it was
film. Shot the
real creepy. I really like that. Shout out to Disney for getting, but remember I told you I said that we're gonna get some WandaVision, but because it's focused on witches, I feel like we may get into some of like Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness. Which if we get that, the Multiverse of Madness, which if we get, that's gonna be good because Disney has a tendency to not go really deep into the horror aspect of things, and that's what I really liked about that Doctor Strange movie was that it got so creepy, especially with Wanda at some points where there was parts where you were definitely getting real jump scares and stuff. So I think that we're going to get some of that. We're going to get more of that.
yeah.
mm.
I,
Before you go further, because we're about to be done with the, are we still on the first episode or we're on the second episode?
second episode now. We talking about when she recruited all of them.
Okay, we're still in recruiting. I'll bring it up once we pass the recruiting stage.
Nicholas Scratch is also an interesting character because his link to Franklin Richards. He obsessed with possessing him. He's obsessed with possessing Franklin Richards, and that's most of his role in the thing. He's constantly trying to take his body and possess him because if you Franklin Richards is he
Franklin Richards.
he he listen, when we get Franklin Richards and Century, we into a new power scale that
we will probably never get Franklin Richards in a live action anything because once you
well,
bring in characters like
supposed to
that,
be in but he's supposed to be a baby in Fantastic Four.
okay, I feel like that's the only way that we're ever really going to see him because once he becomes fully aware of his powers and stuff, he is,
He's
come
old.
on.
But they are at
He is overpowered.
yeah, listen, he made Galactus into a herald and then killed Celestials. By the way, shout out to Disney. That the way they did Eternals, the Celestial was humongous. I'm like, you made him huge. Shout out to him. But
Honestly, Eternal should have did so much better. But there were some things they did right, but there was a little couple of misses there. But I didn't hate it as much as some people did.
I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of at certain points it got just boring because it too much filler.
It felt like real flat. in
Yeah.
different parts. Yeah,
The
but
Icarus
they did
scene was
a
amazing. The Icarus scene was
right. That was great. The speedster in that one,
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah. And then the celestial at the end when he just came and put them in the palm of his hand. Like his head was the size like covered up the sun. And everybody was like, what is that?
Whoa.
We got the Black Knight hinted at Blade, which we might never get at this point because they won't stop rewriting the movie. But Agatha takes on her. She gets the covenant together. She finds everyone. They have, like I said, they go through all the scenes. They say they, as the name of the episode suggests, Circle Song with Fate, Unlock Thy Hidden. All that. This is a long title, so I'm not going through. But they say it. They look for the door. As we said, the Salem 7 is breaking through windows and having cold air coming through the vents of the ground and stuff like that with Agatha. So, and Agatha, they want her dead. So Agatha starts just ripping into everybody. And we find out how her powers work. That if you blast her, she takes your power. So she was trying to.
Hmm.
So when she realized, like, she started just dissing them, and they were about to shoot her with power, and she's like, "Come on!" And then she told Lilia what her power was. Like, "Don't blast us." That's what she wanted us to do. But then we find the door at the bottom.
Wait,
So
before we go to the door, this is the part that I wanted to step in because when it was announced that there was going to be some musical numbers, like people always get really in a tizzy when you say that something is going to be a musical. Even though WandaVision had musical aspects as well. What did you think about the musical number that they did for that summoning?
I liked it. It was subtle. It wasn't like in your face, but it felt right.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt right. It sounded good. And I felt like the way they did it, I looked at it and been like, yeah, this could totally be a real ritual. Like I could see them having to sing this as their ritual and it not feel out of place or forced for the sake of being able to have a musical number. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought it was done well. And there was only one musical part and it wasn't like over the top. There wasn't like dancing everywhere or anything. It was just a strict ritual. And I thought that they did a good job on that.
But we we got a history of witchcraft and musicals going together. So Hocus Pocus, shout out. So it's
Shout
not like
out to Hocus Pocus.
so it's not like out of place when they start chanting spells in a musical number. So they did it. Disney like, hey, we did this before. We got to
And
make
it
this work.
worked. And it worked.
So they're like, we know how to make this work. But we get into the we do get into the section in which Teen is just running around in circles getting chased. He is frightened. The little alien evil cat thing that she carries around that turns into a demon did not help Teen at all.
Oh yeah, the little bunny rabbit.
Yeah, the bunny demon.
I forgot about that. That's why I really was supposed to go back and rewatch WandaVision before this came out and I got busy. But I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Teen picked him up and then he ran off somewhere.
Oh,
Like,
but maybe he doesn't have the power. Maybe he lost his power when Agatha lost her power.
oh baby, but he is still a demon. So I'm guessing. Like I don't think he turned the bunny rabbit into a demon. I think he's
Maybe
just a demon that's
maybe he's just stuck in his bunny form.
maybe it's hopefully he can get out. Well, we ain't gonna know for a while because they're on the way to the road, and which is very Wizard of Oddish, going down that little walkway.
It was a mix between the Wizard of Oz and like the Forest and Maleficent.
Oh yeah.
Like really kind of woodsy and ethereal. But then you see like this glowing road. I thought the visuals on it were nice. And I
It,
like the costuming through the show. I felt every character had their own personality. By the way, I'm backtracking right here, but my favorite parts in there is when she storms into the black girls. I cannot remember her name. The witch's store, and she's like, "I'm looking for a jade yoni egg." She said, "My pelvic wall is basically on the floor," and she just starts cracking all these jokes about it. And then the customers leave. That shit was funny. I thought that was really funny. So
she, yeah, they ran. They did run. They ran completely off.
And then she saw the yoni egg. She's like, I'm gonna take one to go. A jade yoni egg to go. I was like, y'all are wild. Y'all just doing whatever. But it works. So
It is. So now we on the way to see the Witch's Road, which is the constant, like the yellow brick road. The witches, we're on our way
hmm
to see the witch. And they're with Teen, because I don't know if Teen is supposed to be there, but Teen is there.
right. Because it didn't seem like she was gonna actually take him because she had sent him out of the room to begin with. And so then he just ended up there.
He's the first one down, by the way. He ran down them steps
He
first.
was like, these things are scary. It was like,
Which,
is this the little road thingy? All right, well, gotta go. And then the black girl was like, I ain't got time for this. Everybody was like, no, I'm not waiting here. Time to go. But I do think that because they reference it multiple times that the only person that went down there that's ever actually seen the road or made it back from the road was Agatha. So I wish that they would have. Well, not wish because obviously we only got 2 episodes. I hope that they go into a little bit of her first trial on the road. If she had, or has she actually been down the road? Because she says she has, but
yeah, that is the thing. They are saying that she's the only one to make it, and that's like universal to all of them. Like, you the only one to make it. We all gonna die if you don't. And by the way, it said all her people in her coven died besides her. In which some, according to the episode, some said it was because of her. She betrayed them.
mm-hmm.
So we don't know that yet, but we going I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that story.
Yeah, I need that story because even like she'll say something like I guess it got me because she would say something along the lines of like, I don't remember this taking this long the last time, but then she'll also say something later where it just seems like she didn't recognize the door that was leading to the road and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like what did she actually walk down the road or did she not? Was that a lie or does she not fully remember? Does it change depending on who summons it and where? What?
And we do know the protector's mom is lost on the road, so that's the reason she's there. She's looking for her mom. So Agatha does reference that, in which I think Agatha might know something more about that. So she might have been there. But that's a lot of
She
interesting
probably
stuff.
killed her mama.
That's what I'm saying. She probably just left her mom there just to get away.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cause they did say, like I said, they said she sacrificed. She said, like, hey, you sacrificed all your coven members to get away. We know what you did. That's why we not going. So I'm like, okay. How do you like about the divinity rich being crazy? Yeah, I like how her personality just randomly changed.
I like that. I like the duality of it. I like she's really serious and stuff, but she is also very funny and quirky and kind of snappy. I like it. I think they did a good job of being able to pull like enough witches to have a coven, and all of them have very unique and individual personalities. To where all of these characters right now, well, at least the divinity witch, um, the divinity witch, and which was the other one? What's the the healing one? Those two, I think, are two characters that I would easily just kind of watch or go back and like research on their own because I just think their personalities and their character in the show already is just kind of funny and entertaining. Um, I do have a question though, because I recall seeing like in one of the initial trailers, the woman that ended up playing the librarian
Yeah.
at the beginning of the show. It kind of pushed to the fact that maybe she was a witch. And so I thought that when they were trying to create this coven, she was going to be one of the people that was listed on the list, but we didn't see her. Do you think that she's going to come into play? Because didn't you have an idea of who she could be based off of the yellow roses and based off of her husband's last name?
Uh,
Uh,
I know you talking about. I couldn't figure it out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna have to go do some new rocks out. Let Eric Voss tell me. Shout out to Eric Voss. My man do research. Listen, one day we're gonna be able to do much research when I don't have to work no more. When we don't have to work, we gonna do all the research we can.
all right.
I'll be like, I work 9 hours a day. I ain't got time to research this. I get to do the face, the, the upfront research that I know in my comic book history when I watch. Shout out to watching, reading a lot of comic books, reading a lot of comic books.
Right.
But
Hold on, I'm trying to see what her name was again because that was going to drive me insane.
as long as they're not Jerry Jones talking about black men, we good. Listen, I gotta show you that. I gotta show you that after the show. Shout out that. I gotta show you.
Crazy.
I gotta show you. This is strange. I'm telling you, it's an obsession. We need some mental health practices. But
Why did they change the name from Coven of Chaos?
I guess I think it's probably going. My guess is y'all can let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, by the way. Hit that notification bell. All of that on Waifu Views and keep it in there. I know this is live on Facebook and everything right now, but my whole thing is I think it was gonna have something more to do with Doctor Strange. I think when Kang left, I think they changed the name and probably gonna focus on Franklin Richards more with Agatha rather than
Oh,
multiversal. Because that name is chaos. It kind of rings into more to Kane the Conqueror than Doctor Doom.
yeah. Okay. I can go with that.
Which Agatha again. I know people complain about, it, but Agatha, if you're gonna do Doomsday, if Doomsday wasn't around, it was gonna be Kane. I can understand why you didn't want to do Agatha, but if Doctor Doom around, Agatha and witchcraft is gonna be a big part of it. And if you're gonna do Secret Wars, it got to be that version of Doctor Doom. It had to be the magical Doctor Doom. Can't be the scientific Doctor Doom. Which interests me when RDJ is playing Doctor Doom. Even though I do think we're gonna get another Doctor Doom character. I think this is gonna be a multiversal Doctor Doom, and it's just for Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fantastic Four gonna have their own Doctor Doom. That's probably not magical, because if anybody know, Agatha has a lot to do with Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Witches have a lot to do with Doctor Doom. Franklin Richards is part of that universe.
Mm-hmm.
Valeria is literally the goddaughter of Doctor Doom, which is interesting. Very interesting. Reed Richards, you and your enemies have a unique relationship.
Extremely.
Yeah, and Secret Wars is 100% Doctor Doom. That is Battle World. All that is Doctor Doom, and then Franklin Richards resets the whole universe, which is a real story. So if Franklin Richards reset the Marvel universe again, and we start getting other characters, a new Thor, because I know Chris Hemsworth said he don't want to play Thor that much more, especially since he had his condition. He found out that he want to live his life more. That he ain't gonna be remembered in the future. He got like that thing, the early dementia.
Oh, I did not see that. What?
I don't know if it's early
Wow.
dementia, something, but he said he ain't gonna do.
Like early onset Alzheimer's, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. What is Chris Hemsworth condition? He don't want to do movies that much more. Yeah, Alzheimer's risk. Yeah, early Alzheimer's. So he said, yeah, he just gonna live his life and not want to do too many more of the movie.
Wow.
So they gonna have to find new Thor. And if you know Thor's story, as Guardians come back to life, it looked different. So you can
I
find
agree
another
with
Thor.
you that I think that RDJ's Doctor Doom was probably going to only be like he's going to be a multiversal Doctor Doom. So for Spider Man, and then we're going to get a different one later on. I do see that
Yeah,
happening.
because I don't. Fantastic Four has to have Doctor Doom, and I don't think Secret War Doctor Doom can survive. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You cannot let that. You cannot let God King Doom, which would be that version,
Well,
survive.
you never know with Marvel because they will flub a villain for you. Let me tell you,
They
they'll
will,
disappoint you with a villain and what they do with him. Gore
but
the God Butcher.
I think they doing a reset. and I'm apparently Noah might be part of it too later on, which would be from the Sony universe. Apparently, they're going to show him, and they making a new deal according to Cosmic Wonder. Shout out to my guy. He did say that they are upcoming a deal with Spider-Man being a big part of the MCU and all of that, and Sony Universe is ending because they feel like it's been trash. So they introduced Noel, and I seriously doubt Venom by itself should ever beat Noel. I'm sorry, that would be wrong.
No,
I'm sorry.
I really do believe that they're resetting stuff. I think that's one of the main reasons why I believe your theory about Doctor Doom is because of the introduction of Noel in the Venom movies.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna end up, to be honest, I feel like he's gonna end up sacrificing himself. So I feel like something like that particular universe is gonna end and he's gonna somehow sacrifice himself or something so it can keep going and Noel's gonna go on to like another verse.
And plus, Venom put himself in MCU. He left a piece of himself in MCU to survive in case he did. And I feel like Noah's gonna be like, "Oh, you went that way. All right."
All
And for
right.
people that don't know Noah,
Bet.
Noel is not every character have a different multiversal form. Noel is a form of allegedly we are thinking of one below all, and they only have one form. Like there's only one Dormammu. He live in his universe. There's only one Nightmare. There's only one Noel. They only live in their universes. Well, Noel can transfer universes. So, and plus his sword is in MCU or was. Gore had it. So
Yeah,
Noel might.
Gore had it.
So Noel can go through multiple universes because he's that strong. He's on that level with Celestials, and they can just travel wherever they want. Because if y'all don't know, Noel is the reason Nowhere exists when he cut that Sentinel head off. So he's that strong. He cut a Celestial's head off. That's a Sentinel
Yeah.
Celestial head.
No's a real problem. That's why I think that's another reason why I'm surprised that, they made Thanos the big bad in phase 1 and 2 of phase, whatever phase that was for those movies. I am surprised that they're bringing Null in with what I feel like is almost too early, because I feel like we haven't solidified any other characters now in movies, because we know that majority of the Avengers characters and stuff like that, like we're not going to see them anymore. Like not the current cast. A lot of them don't want to reprise their roles and stuff like that, which means you kind of have to reboot it in a way or go into, the multiverse thing and grab a different version of them. But a lot of that takes time. Like, there
Or
were
Frank and
hints.
Richards reset.
Right. But the thing is, when you're
Sure.
saying that, at least with when we got Thanos, we had already established all of these major characters. So then having a big bad come in, it was like, cool, this is the main focus. I don't know how you can have a big bad like that and also be introducing in new characters at the same time.
I don't think I don't think they'll show Noel for a little bit. He's gonna be a main villain threat, so I don't think they'll show him. But I think he might end up destroying the Sony universe, and he just to show you how powerful he is, he come like. But the actor they got is amazing. How old is the actor they got?
Norman Reedus.
How old is Norman?
I think he's in his 40s, like mid 40s.
He's 55.
You're kidding, really?
Yes.
Honestly, I should have known that because I've been watching him at least since Blade 2. At least.
What's up,
I feel
nephew?
like I watched him before that, but I love Norman Reedus. If y'all don't know who Norman Reedus is, he is Daryl from The Walking Dead. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah. Child nephew, look at nephew. Florida. I watched Florida go through high school. Look at this. Shout out to Florida.
Hey.
But like I said, they got Norman Reedus. Ah,
He's from Florida too. I didn't know that either.
they might have to do this quicker, but when does this section end? Secret Wars end probably 2026, 27. They gonna have to do it quicker. If he was in his 40s, I'd be like, yeah, they can do it 10 years from now. But 55, I don't know if you want to do that age. So, Unless he's just doing it for Sony Universe and they ain't gonna really show him. He's just gonna do like sound bites and he's just gonna be like a scary figure, like Thanos was for a little bit. And then they changed the actor of Thanos later on,
Right.
so he could
Hmm.
just be the intimidating factor around just destroying universes. And then when if he's too old to do it, they just do somebody else. But they could do that, but I don't think Noel gonna come because he's a threat they're gonna need.
Yeah, he's not somebody that any of the characters that are established right now currently can beat.
Yeah, he's not.
Even if we like exclude Venom, like there's no one really on the Avengers team. No, not no one really. No one on the current Avengers team right now could beat Null.
Wanda's apparently dead. She can't beat him, but
Right.
she
And
don't want
she's
to
not on
can.
the Avengers team anymore, and she
That's true.
can't beat him by herself because Null
Thor
beat the
doesn't have
crap
his.
out of
Thor doesn't have
Thor.
old.
Yeah, but he's beaten Thor before, hasn't he? Beaten like the X-Men
Yeah,
and the Avengers. He
he's
just be toying with them so I just don't know.
and the only one that gave him
That's
a
why I said
was
introducing new characters.
Scarlet Witch was gone in the comic book. Thor was Odin Force Thor. He fought a long time with him, but at that and Thor ain't nowhere near got the Odin Force right now. So I don't know how you make that work. He don't have to be that strong, but I think he should be that strong because if you do that God King Doom, you might get away with it. But that story, I think that's gonna be more of an intricate story. So we'll see. Um, we'll see. I'm very interested in how they gonna do this because they are introducing Sentry, and Sentry is OP. So I'm looking forward to seeing that they are introducing Sentry, which I am very much. They have introduced Celestials, but this
But
is
that's why
called.
I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna do these because a lot of these characters that are super OP, you have chapters after chapters after chapters to like build up on these characters and stuff like that, bringing out so many OP characters in the universe at once. It's gonna be hard. I just don't see it going well. I feel like it's almost a little too overly ambitious. I feel like it's a little bit of they're finally listening to the fans, but the problem is they spent all this time and build up on characters, some characters that aren't even remotely major in their verse. Like, no offense, I love Wolverine to death, but we are not going to act like he even really makes a dent in the X-Men comics because he just doesn't compared to the other mutants. He just doesn't. And so focusing on all these other characters that you have
Wolverine's
to
strength
build
is
up,
he is like basically immortal, but that's it.
that's it though.
you just
When
He's
you
just
have
annoying.
people,
He
that's
just
it
I
though.
killed you 50,000 times, dying, and he
But
just
then
come
you
back.
have characters like Bobby Drake and Storm and Magneto that are Omega level mutants. You drop in people like Emma Frost, which psychically is stronger than Professor X, and she's a henchman. That's it. That's the best we got out of that. Like there's just so many different things that I feel like they bring in these characters because some of them are fan favorites, but in the bigger scheme of some of these stories, they don't really matter. So when you're bringing in these major overpowered villains that do matter, the only characters that we're working with are some of the characters that wouldn't even necessarily go against these villains.
The only ones who we got that can actually like this over planetary. We know Thor is planetary. He blew up a moon when he just landed on it in Love and Thunder. Even if you hate the movie, he had some feats in that movie.
Hate the movie. No, I hated the
He
movie.
hate the movie, but he had feats. He landed on
He
the
did.
moon and broke it. I'm
He
like,
did.
okay, he OP.
He did.
Um,
I'll give him
the
that.
little girl with him is OP because we know who
Hmm.
she linked to. Who else we have? We have Wanda was OP.
Wanda.
She's multiversal in the coming. So they did do them right.
Technically, the Phoenix Force is still out there chilling.
Yeah, so they do have things that they could implement that could be strong. Like I said, Sentry's coming. Sentry's is their Superman with a dark side. They have
Hmm.
introduced Celestial, so that's an OP group. Icarus was OP strong, So they do have some very strong characters that they have, but they not like they mostly. But if I'm sorry, Spider Man exists because God like him. That's the only thing Peter Parker got. I'm like, how does Spider Man survive? He's the only one that ever met the one above all. He's the only person to ever meet him because he's like, why do I go through so much? He's like, listen, you go against Galactus and you survive. I gotta punish you in some way. You can never love nobody. You can never your lovers gotta die. All that bullshit.
Which crazy. You can't have it all, my guy. You can't
Yeah.
have it all.
But but back to Agatha, I think they lead into some OP characters too. Um, we already see Dormammu, but we get to see Mephisto. Hopefully, we see Nightmare soon. If we get that Nightmare story when he makes the whole world sleep and
Crazy.
and he can beat Celestials because he made the whole world sleep, the whole universe sleep. I'm like, oh,
That's the
that'd be
character that they introduced at the very end of um that they said was coming at the end of the Doctor Strange movie.
I didn't. He
Who
didn't
was it
come.
that they who was the person that Charlize Theron's character was warning him about at the end of the movie?
I think it might have been. I think it might have been probably what's the name, but we don't
Because I
know.
don't remember who she says, but she says something and she's like, "We'll need you" or something. I can't remember if she actually said who was coming or not, but I think that maybe that will tie in.
Clea is stating Clea for y'all that don't know is Dormammu's daughter, which is a very in Doctor Strange marries her in the comic book. This is comics get very strange. But she tells him that he calls his multiverse shenanigans has called more incursions, and he probably wanted him. From what I got from that, probably was warning him about Kang, but Kang ain't here no more, so he's probably gonna switch
Right.
it up to Nightmare or Doctor Doom or somebody. We'll figure out Doctor Strange 3, even though that comes out after Secret Wars now, so it's probably somebody else. Which Nightmare story would be a great story to sell. Make the whole universe go to sleep, and Doctor Strange with his new third eye has to stop him and Clea. But we'll see.
That
I'm
would
looking
be
forward to it.
good. Yeah. So if you had or um like if you had to rate episode 1 and episode 2 independently, what would you rate them?
Episode 1, a 7. Episode 2, due to me being happy for thinking Mephisto coming, an 8. It might go back down to
Okay.
7 if Mephisto don't come.
So for me, with Agatha all along, episode 1, I think I could give it a 7. I could probably even push it up higher because I like shows that have me wanting more. Where I'm like, what's happening? Like now my wheels are turning, and I see something's unfolding, so I just have to pay attention. So, but the second episode was an 8 for me. I could have even given it an 8.5 because I liked the fear aspect of it. You know me, anytime it gets into horror stuff and done right, then I like it. And the images with the 7, I really enjoyed. I did really enjoy the musical number, the comedy and the breaking through the spell and stuff. I enjoyed all of that. So honestly, I think I'd give them both 8s. Maybe the first one an 8 and the second one an 8.5.
That's fair. Like I said, it's a solid show. The crowd, like the critics gave it an 8. The audiences gave it an 8 as well. Um, I'm looking forward. I feel like it should show us a lot of secret. Well, I think Disney when they do shows like this, because Agatha is a established character for a long time, but she's also not like one of the most popular characters. I think you have to start establishing other characters. Oh yeah, the one I forgot was Photon, and she met Beast at the end of the Marvels movie, which leads us to be like, what could happen in that world? Photon is
Oh
also
yeah. I had to
we
think I'm like Photon. Okay, yeah.
Monica, Monica Rambeau.
Monica
Oh,
Rambo.
by the
Yeah.
way, if y'all didn't know how powerful she is, Captain Marvel is powered the sun. Like we are talking about OP people. Like we don't have anybody. I did forget that Captain Marvel did power her son, so she is OP level to fight this level. We are getting Sentry, and Photon broke through a universe. She's not in our
But
universe
see,
now, so she don't count because she's not here. But she did break through a universe, and I'm like,
But see,
that's
my
crazy.
issues with those things is we haven't done. There's typically a build up with characters,
Yeah.
like when we first see Thor, he's this, and then in the next movie, he has more of this because he's been through this, and you build up, and the characters get stronger. So right now, what we have a Photon is not enough to say that if we introduce Nolan to this verse in 2 years, we would have seen enough for it to make sense that she has finally gotten to this point to where she can potentially be a threat.
I wonder what movie she would even be in to get back. Like, what show has to do with any of this? She come with the X Men later on, but no, that's the Fox X Men universe. That's the whole boy. So maybe she got to help them get back in Doomsday before it get destroyed. When Doctor Doom, I'm assuming, is just gonna go around destroying universes to save his own, which is comic book wise. It might not be there in the story, but that's comic book wise. I think he's taking on the Illuminati role.
Mm, I don't know if they'll ever go into the Illuminati.
They
You
kind
know.
of did, but they got destroyed by Scarlet Witch. She annihilated them.
Oh yeah, that's right. That literally was who they were.
She,
That
so she destroyed them,
was who they were.
but I think he's gonna take over their role in Secret Wars, in which they just go and I think he's gonna do what they did because we don't have a Black Panther to tell him it's wrong to destroy the universes. So I think Doctor Doom like, yo, listen, I'm gonna destroy all the universes to save mine, and that's how we gonna get to it. Which makes RDJ
Hmm.
a villain that you can react to it, and it also makes him
Right.
multiversal and not the natural Doctor Doom, which I think is gonna be in the universe for like a decade or so. So
Hmm.
that's my
Which
theory.
I'm
Y'all
glad
let me.
about.
Yeah,
Which
I
because
don't
I
mind
love Doctor
RDJ.
Doom. Well, I'm not even talking about RDJ being it. I just love Doctor Doom. I
Yeah,
love him as a character and as someone that started off reading the comics. Fantastic Four was one of the first comics that I ever read. So for me, I have that's why I keep rooting for anytime they make a Fantastic Four movie. I'm like, this is gonna be the time. It's like with the X-Men movie. It's like this is gonna be the time that we shine. I'm always gonna give Marvel my money for those movies, even if they like miss the mark. But and what's his name from Nip Tuck? That was the last Doctor Doom. I really loved him. So if we can get an elevated version of that, if you've ever watched like what was it, U.S. Marshals or whatever, you know that Robert Downey Jr. can play a bad guy. So and he already has the that I have a lot of money, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you attitude because Doctor Doom is honestly kind of like the yang version of Iron Man if you think about it. Like yin and yang. He's Iron Man's more of like the light side. Doctor Doom is the dark side, but they're kind of the same character in a lot of ways, personality wise.
I just think Tony Stark has a limiter on his evil, and Doctor Doom doesn't. But I think they also play in the gray a little bit because Doctor Doom has saved the universe before,
Yeah.
and he does
Because
love
it's
his
always about
country.
his self-interest.
And he
Hmm.
does love his country. He made Lavia. Those people are treated well in the comic books for the most part. Not in the video game. That Marvel video game they made. He
Let's
was
not do
annihilated.
that. Yeah.
He
Mm-mm.
annihilated his. He was just killing people for fun. But in the comic book, he usually loves his
Unhinged.
country, and he just be chilling. And then people just come to mess with him. They're like, "Hey, we need something from you. I know you did something." He be like, "Man, I'm just chilling in my country. What you talking about?" Well, if y'all don't believe me, watch the Avengers. Read the Avengers. You usually see them just run up there like, "Hey, we need something." I'm like, what the?
Stupid.
You know what they do? They just like, "Hey, we need something over here." I'm like, "Leave me alone." And then he get tired of him and then try to kill him. But if he do find a
Crazy.
power source, he will just go crazy. He likes that. But that's my thoughts on it. I think it leads to all of this, by the way, which makes this show very important to watch. If it does lead
Which
to,
you know what? With I'm glad that I like this show because I always talk about how I dislike how um Disney has done this. It's one of the reasons why I feel like the Arrowverse fell apart when you're forcing people to watch other shows and stuff like that for you to get like the main picture of something major. Like, oh, in order for you to understand Secret Wars, you have to watch this show, this show, this show, this show, this show. They all have 2 seasons. Go crazy. Like you have to keep up with everything, even if that's not your cup of tea. Like when as readers, for instance, we get to kind of pick and choose what fandom we want to fall behind and follow and stuff. So it's something that I've never really liked, but I think that it's a good thing that I enjoy this show so far. And I really enjoyed WandaVision, so I'm more likely to watch it because it's clear to me that we're gonna get a lot of we're already getting Easter eggs. If you go and look at like the ending credits of Agatha All Along, there are a lot of Easter eggs in there. I'm not even gonna go into that because that'll take a while. But maybe I'll record it separately and put it as a reel. But there are a lot of witchy Easter eggs in there. So we're going to see a lot of different things from this show, I think, that's going to play major roles in the MCU. Um, so watch Agatha All Along, y'all. 2 episodes are already out on Hulu. No, on Disney Plus. I lied. Sorry about that. Or if you have the Hulu package that includes Disney Plus, which is why I said Hulu, you can watch it that way.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Great
Mm-hmm.
show. We did our theorizing. We talked about the episode because like a lot of it, like it was mostly straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or we gotta. She's doing this character. She's still doing the Wonder Vision thing where she's all these characters. She breaks out. Now she's looking for a coven. It's a straightforward show, but it left us a lot to think about. A lot of theories, a lot of power dynamics that we're gonna see. Who characters can show up? Is Mephisto showing up? Is she Morgan Le Fay? Which actually raises another level of power. But it's interesting. Ash, what can they find you, Ebony?
You can find me at ebony_moonbeam or ebony_moonbeam cosplay on all social media platforms. Like I said earlier, I'm a cosplayer. I got literally 7 free more days before I get into spooky season, where I will be dropping 31 days of Halloween cosplay for the full month of October. You can also find me. Actually, tonight we're doing a round table instead of Wednesday. So you can catch me on the Blurred Cartels round table on YouTube this evening at 8:30. Typically, Waifu Views, which is a female nerd led podcast that gives you everything fandom with a side of waifu. We typically have our shows on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, where you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. But we are not having a show because I have to be on the round table for this particular episode. And yeah, we're going to be having nothing but spooky themed episodes every Sunday throughout the month of October. You will get a spooky cosplay from us, each of those shows, spooky recommendations, all that jazz. 31 days of Halloween cosplay for me. I will also be dropping information on horror smut. I will be dropping you already know you're dropping it. Horror, games, movies, TV shows. I'm even gonna give you a little Disney stuff too. So be sure to check that out and follow me, please.
Yeah, and as you know, you can find me
Oh,
anywhere.
and then wait. Sorry, my bad. I got one more. You didn't remind me. You can also find me on Wednesday nights on Keep It 99's Casual Conversations with this guy right here in Afro Comedy 765, where we are completely unhinged. So if you want to watch a show that is arguably not monetized because myself and my co-hosts are that unhinged, you should check us out.
This week is partially my fault. We are doing a wife is smashing or passing with corn stars. So, so
Wait, we are?
yes. So that's Wednesday, and then Tuesday we are doing Big Three on who did it better with the whiteboard cam. Shout out to whiteboard cam. But the whiteboard cam will be. It sounds like I say whiteboard cam, but my accent. But whiteboard
It
cam
did, but
It's gonna sound like we do not have what's his name son, Tom Hanks' son around here or some weird like that hanging
No,
around.
when you hear like white boy Cam, I instantly thought of like Cam boys
You know
because
what I'm
my
saying?
head is being smut. I'm like,
Yeah.
we are clearly going in the wrong direction here.
This this
Whiteboard.
whiteboard.
Put you right on. I got one right here. A whiteboard.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I realize my accent kind of sounds like. Yo,
So
shout out
it's
to
a little
Tik.
heavy.
Shout out to TikTok for letting me know that my accent says white boy when I do the captions. So shout out to TikTok because I realized it. I did not know. TikTok swear I said white boy. They will correct me again on TikTok. But you'll find us there. Looking forward to it. Penguin, I will probably do the review with Unico either later tonight or tomorrow. Looking forward to
How
that.
many episodes of that has come out?
One.
I may. Well, if you do it tonight, I won't be able to do it. But if you do it another day, I'll do it because I have to watch Penguin anyway.
Yeah. So
Because it's
shout.
Penguin.
And I still have to watch that movie with Halle Berry, but I got really busy. So that movie is coming out, and it's a few movies I got to watch. A lot of good movies come out this week. Looking forward to that. I appreciate y'all. Ash, Ebony,
Hmm. Hmm.
any last words?
No, go watch Agatha All Along. Give it a shot. You may love it. If nothing else, you'll be entertained to a degree. And yeah. Oh, if you like horror and you are a manga person, we are finally getting Junji Ito's Uzumaki next Saturday. It's dropping. So I will be doing a review on Uzumaki that Sunday. So get into your horror bag, people. It's official. It's almost spooky season. Get into it. I know I'm wearing like a Christmas onesie, but it's spooky season. Get into it.
Spooky season. I appreciate that. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. If it's a hype button up when y'all see this, hit it.
We still haven't figured that out, have we?
YouTube just out adding random crap. They're like, hey, we added a bunch of stuff and we don't know when it's coming. Like, all right, if y'all see it by the time y'all see this video, and you might be watching Agatha later on, like, oh, let me watch the first 2 episodes. Let me see if I like it. Click the button whenever it come out. You can't even say now. Hit that notification bell. All that stuff. We out. Peace.